Yo, what is up guys? Back here with another video. Today we're going to be going over some rental teams for you guys. So as you guys know, these rental team videos are usually pretty straightforward. We kind of bring you teams that you guys can use and take advantage of when you guys are playing on the ladder. So today we have 4 different teams for you. It's going to be a team with Calyrex. It's going to be a team, actually both Calyrex forms, now that we bring that up. So it's going to be the both forms of Calyrex. It's going to be a standard Lapdog team, just in case you guys wanted a version to use that you didn't have already. And then also a Groudon team, pretty straightforward. The composition is definitely a little more aggressive than they typically are, but I figured it would be nice to give you something like that, considering there are a lot of already developed kind of sun teams that are a little more defensive, such as a team that Raghav, Colin, and Adi all use in Players Cup 3, which you guys can see on one of their channels or like on their Twitters. But yeah, so basically going into the first team here, we have a Calyrex-Shadow team. Basically, idea with this team, Calyrex-Shadow, obviously pretty offensive threat. This one is a nasty plot setup set. So the main thing with Calyrex is typically a lot of people will try and swap around, protect against it. So basically the way that this specific Calyrex deals with this is by setting up with nasty plots to obviously deal a lot of damage. Obviously, Calyrex does have difficulties with Yveltal, which is why we have a Thunderous on the team. Also, it kind of discourages stat dropping with Snarls, which helps our Calyrex, and also discourages Intimidate, which is pretty good. You also have the option of leading Thunderous Urshifu together, which obviously you have the pressure of Airstream plus Wicked Blow, a ton of offensive momentum, and you can go for Max Knuckles plus attacks. Now, you'll see that the team kind of looks familiar to a team that we saw in previous formats. So, if you look in Series 7, Baz, actually, or not Baz, Boss. He won a what's it called, an event with a team with Spectre, Spectre, Regieleki, like a few mons like that, and I'm going to link that team report, the video that we did with him, down below, so you guys can kind of see that and kind of see the similarities here. But basically, this team kind of functions in a similar way, in terms of putting on very offensive pressure, except that his was obviously just pure offense Calyrex. So it plays the same way with the Clefairy, allowing Helping Hand to kind of boost up its partners to deal a lot of damage. Obviously, you have Thunderous here to discourage Intimidate, also helps with Incineroar, which this team would otherwise struggle with a little bit. And obviously having the Calyrex with Mud Shot so that it can go for Max Quakes to deal a lot of damage. Then obviously there's mons like Rillaboom, Incineroar offering a more supportive role on the team, able to kind of reduce damage, obviously support the Calyrex and the Thunderous. And then you have Rillaboom, which is able to clean up with Grassy Glides after the mons have been weakened by, for example, a Calyrex Fairy lead or a Calyrex Thunderous lead. So the code obviously right there, you guys can use this team. Big thanks, by the way, to all the mods who were able to get these rental codes up on their like accounts, because obviously like I've used up a lot of my rental code slots. So thank you to Pato, and thank you to Brent, who also were able to get me the rental code slots to do this. So we go over and we look at the next one. Over here, Groudon. So this team is a little bit more aggressive. You're going to see it's White Herb Groudon. This Groudon's actually near max speed. This Groudon is meant to be incredibly offensive next to the Clefairy. Obviously take advantage of Helping Hand boost. Venusaur here with the Salt Vest, able to use Weather Ball and able to go for Sludge Bombs to boost up its special attack. You're going to see Thunderous on this team as well. Obviously Thunderous, very good mon. We've seen it a lot in this format. Also paired with Urshifu once more. So this team's a little bit more aggressive than typical Sun competitions. Usually on Sun comps, you'll see that they run a little bit, like they run Zard, they run a little bit more defensive mons. This one's a little bit more aggressive so that it can really deal with stuff. So basically your two main sources of fire coverage come from the Venusaur and the Incineroar. And then obviously you have Groudon here, which is able to go for sword stances, and it's immune to Incineroar's initial intimidates or an attack drop. So that's very helpful there. Then we look over here, Thunderous obviously immune to Intimidate, or rather gets boosted from Intimidate, so obviously they're not going to want to Intimidate the Groudon anyways, but if they do, you're still in an advantageous position. And then obviously Clefairy here to provide Helping Hand support. So pretty balanced team, obviously. Kind of like the previous one, very focused around Thunderous and it's restricted. Obviously Venusaur is also focused as well. And then you have Urshifu as well to provide extra offense with Clefairy and Incineroar playing support on the team. So the rental code is right there. You guys can take advantage of that. And then, very standard Lapdog composition. I think out of all the teams, this one is the most standard and pretty straightforward. The reason why I wanted to include this team here is just because, like, obviously, a lot of people have put out versions of their teams. I just put out the version that I felt was best in responding to the current meta if you're going to use something like Lapdog. Obviously, it's the meta's progressed a little bit, so it's a little bit tougher to run Lapdog in the current format. However, it's still like a very valid like composition if you're able to utilize it properly, right? So basically here we have a Regieleki. It's going to be running Magnet. You can also run Focus Sash on your Regieleki. I personally prefer Magnet. I think Magnet allows you to have a little bit more offense and deal a little bit more damage. Also, you can go for like Electroweb plus attacks with Zacian. Then you also have the option of Lapras obviously going for screens, and then you have the option of Amoonguss going for Spore. And then you obviously have Incineroar to support with Intimidate, and then you have Landers there with Swords Dance. You can lead Amoonguss Landers, go for Swords Dance plus a Rage Powder. Or you can lead something more aggressive like Regieleki Landers to put on more pressure. So you see that there's like a lot of common combinations here between the team. There's a lot of flexibility, and basically this team just opts to take advantage of that and make sure to use it. So pretty straightforward. Here's a Lapdog team if you guys are interested in it, and we will go right into our final team, which I think is the one that's probably going to take the longest to talk about because it actually is probably one of the more interesting teams out of the bunch. So we look over here. If we look at how this team functions, basically, typically Calyrex teams can have a little bit of difficulty dealing with opposing Calyrex-Shadow specifically. So this team has a lot of countermeasures to that. We have Assault Vest Incineroar here. Main reason why we're running Assault Vest Incineroar here is because in Trick Room you can U-turn your own Calyrex first so that you can get its weakness policy up and then attack with it, right? You obviously also have the option of side Shadow Sneak with the Mimikyu onto your Calyrex to proc it, so two very solid options to proc. And then also too, Incineroar obviously can't be taunted, which is really nice. And Assault Vest Snarl is very good versus opposing Calyrex-Shadow, so that's also a very nice option as well. You're going to see the Hydreigon is Dark Pulse, Earth Power, Nasty Plot. The reason why I put Nasty Plot in this Hydreigon is because it allows it to put on a bit more pressure. Also, too, its dragon coverage is a lot less valuable in a format where there aren't so many viable dragon types regardless. To where the dark coverage comes a bit more essential. And Nasty Plot plus Life Orb obviously puts on a bit of pressure. You have the option of Amoonguss to support the Hydreigon, which is really nice, and you also have Incineroar to support it. And we also have Calm Mind Finny down below, providing Misty Surge to protect the Calyrex from burns. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward team. Pretty straightforward composition. Mimikyu here, kind of a staple with Calyrex now able to go for Shadow Sneak onto the Calyrex to give it a weakness policy boost. So definitely a very cool team. Definitely a lot of cool combinations here. In terms of what you'd probably be commonly leading with this, I'd probably be leading Incineroar Mimikyu. You can lead something like Mimikyu Calyrex if you want to kind of force them to pick between both your Mimikyu or your Calyrex targeting. I've even seen stuff like Incineroar Finny, Incineroar Amoonguss, and then Amoonguss plus obviously Hydreigon is like a very solid lead here. So definitely a bunch of solid, combinations here and things that you can do. So yeah, definitely one of the cooler teams of the bunch, and you guys will see the rental code right there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to keep this one pretty straightforward, just kind of talking about the individual teams, giving you guys access to these teams. Make sure to support the video, to like the video, comment, all that stuff. Super appreciate it, guys, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.